After World War II, the economy and everything else shifts into high gear, but Georgia is held back by one factor: segregation. On most levels, the races were separated, not just education, business, commerce, transportation. Remember sitting in the back of the bus or the back of the streetcar, blacks to the back, whites to the front. Even separate waiting or drinking fountains, waiting rooms in train stations. The Supreme Court decision in 1954 outlawed segregation in public education, but all of the southern states resisted it and fought it legally. It took time for segregation to be whittled away. One of the main breaches was on the campus of the University of Georgia in January of 1961, when Charlayne Hunter and Hamilton Holmes entered the University of Georgia as the first two black students, undergraduates. Holmes came from Morehouse College in Atlanta, still an elite school. Charlayne Hunter came from Wayne State University in Michigan. She was an Army brat, and Army brats tend to learn to roll with the punches. Holmes came from a very distinguished family in Atlanta. They were both very carefully picked. This was tough to integrate, break a segregation system that existed for a century and was massively supported by the white majority. Hamilton Holmes and Charlayne Hunter were really heroes. Try to imagine forcefully integrating a school system that didn't want you there. Well, they signed on in January of '61 in the academic building on the Old North Campus of Georgia. It's now the Hunter Holmes Academic Building in honor of them. Things went very well for a week. Then we lost a very close basketball game to Georgia Tech in old Woodruff Hall, which is long gone. The crowd poured out of the gymnasium angry, was joined by other townies who were angry over integration, and they marched on Maya Central Dorm, where Charlayne Hunter had to live. She was a female and had to live on campus. Hamilton Holmes was a male and he could live anywhere he wanted, on or off campus. Charlayne Hunter had to live in Maya Central Dorm. That's where the mob congregated, surrounded the dormitory, and began to throw rocks and bricks through windows. Really ugly. It could have been worse. The cops and the firemen and several of the deans at the school arrived and dispersed the mob. Nobody was shot or seriously wounded, but it was scary. Mobs are always scary. That led to the two black students being temporarily withdrawn from the campus for their own safety, but they were soon back with federal deputy marshals to see that they were properly protected. And so for the rest of that year and for the rest of that 2-year stay on the University of Georgia campus, it wasn't Holiday Inn or Caribbean Cruise. Most whites didn't want them there. They stuck it out because they knew what they were going to face, and they were also extremely able, bright, flexible people. Hamilton Holmes majored in history and was a Phi Beta Kappa, and went on, I think he was the first black scholar at the Emory Medical School. He went on, graduated, became a doctor, and like any good doctor, worked himself to death ahead of his time. Charlayne Hunter, now Charlayne Hunter Galt, was a journalism major and went into journalism and has had an extremely successful career, and she still is active in journalism. These two kids have been very supportive alumni. Charlayne Hunter still comes back sometimes, and she gave the commencement address a couple of years ago. Hamilton Holmes died early, and I got to know him and his wife and his son, who also attended the University of Georgia, a little. Very outgoing, personable, positive sort of guy. You couldn't help but like him. They were the pathfinders. Integration proceeded, but slowly, surely, but very slowly.